Hey everyone, Brady here, and today we're going to be taking a look at the 40th anniversary of Microsoft Flight Simulator. I just downloaded the 40th anniversary and the add-ons that come with it. Let's dive into some of the new activities that they are offering, starting out with the Wright brothers because that is where it all began. So that is what we're going to be taking a look at today. But as you can see with the 40th anniversary, there are quite a few new activities. The wonderful folks at Asobo Studio have been hard at work releasing not only some new activities and some new historical aircraft, but also some of the older missions you could see from Flight Simulator 2004 and FSX. Today we're going to dive into the first flight at Kitty Hawk in 1903 with none other than the Wright Flyer. Now when I first loaded in, I could see that I am moving a little bit, and I'm not sure why the airplane is moving a little bit. It should not be moving yet. You cannot really do much in here other than perhaps shut down the airplane with Control-Shift-E. Of course, there is no menu because we're in an activity mode. You can make the track appear and disappear by clicking this X on the little notepad. Now, I'm going to start up the engine with Control-E. Here goes the propellers, and as I give it throttle and I go to full power, after a few seconds the weight will drop and the catapult will launch us. And there you have it. We are now Orville Wright, taking control of the Wright Flyer, seeing if we can make it all the way down to the fourth stone from the fourth flight down here in Kitty Hawk. I'm going to shut down the engine so that we don't end up in the trees. Beautiful, and the propellers will come to a stop, and that is about it for this activity, which is very fun. But let's dive into the actual site that they have modeled here. One thing that I would like to do is have a little bit more freedom at this site and have a tooltip menu and the ability to go into slew mode. So what I'll do is go back to the main menu and actually just select the Wright Flyer from the menu and go to the world map. As you can see, we have the Wright Flyer here, max altitude of 20 feet. I found that to be quite funny. Cruise speed 23 knots, a whopping 23 knots. And of course there are no other liveries because this was it. Don't worry about the weight imbalance. It will say the center of gravity is wrong. That's just because it's a Wright Flyer. So just don't worry about that right now. What we're going to do is we're going to go to First Flight Airport, and that will take us into the general vicinity of where we want to be. Here is KFFA. KFFA at Kill Devil Hills. And what I would like to do is just pick around right here. So we'll set this as our departure. This is an actual airport that is there in real life. So there is a paved runway here. We'll take a look at that. Flight conditions, we're going to make this as realistic as possible. So we're going to have the winds coming from about 24 knots. We'll have the winds at about 24 knots coming from the north. And we're going to do the same direction for our gusts because we want those to match up, but we will take the gusts down. And for our time of day, we're going to do 10:35 a.m., maybe a little bit before, and we're on December 17th, 1903. So how about that? It already has the correct date there. And we'll just go fly, and then what I can do is I can go into slew mode when I go in. So now that we're in, we're going to start in the air, which obviously is not correct. So what I'm going to do is hit F4, go into slew mode, hold F1, and then I can move where I want to be on the numpad. And I'm just going to go to the exact same place where the Wright Flyer would be. And this gives me the ability to just have a lot more freedom here. So I'm going to hit F4 to exit slew mode, shut down the engine, and hit X to put the Wright Flyer on the track. Beautiful. Now we have our menu and we can move our airplane around and have a little bit more fun and just do what we would like to do with it. Before we do anything else, let's take a look at this site. They have done such a great job modeling and detailing all of this. First things first, we have the stones. These marked each one of the flights. This first stone was the first flight, and it was 12 seconds and a distance of 120 feet. December 17th, 1903. Again, the exact same day. This is the second flight. They made it 175 feet in about 12 seconds. The third flight, the same day, was now about 15 seconds and a little bit further. Then, come all the way down here, you'll see the fourth stone. Again, December 17th, made it all the way down here in 59 seconds, a distance of 852 feet. I love that they have these stones modeled. That is brilliant. You can take a look overhead. We have First Flight Airport to our right with runway 21 and runway 3 on the other end. One thing that was very impressive to me is I noticed that they also even mapped some of these signs here that are on site. So you'll see Welcome to Wright Brothers National Memorial, and we have a map here as well, showing a map of everything and some photos, operating hours, pilot booth, parking, fuel. Making our way over to the memorial on top of this hill. We also have a nice detailed memorial as well. Of course, all of these things are there in real life. I've never been there in real life. I would love to get a chance to go. In commemoration of the conquest of the air. I turned it to night. And as you can see, at nighttime, the light comes on and lights up the monument at night. Some other things that I noticed here as we're in North Carolina, just along the coast, they have detailed this site very, very well with some of these structures as well, and including some of these signs down here. There's some tour buses in the parking lot, and also some adventure vehicles, which I found to be quite a nice little touch. These are some trucks that have been rigged out to be more adventurous, even has a snorkel here, so that's quite interesting. Here's the Wright Brothers Visitor Center sign, the official sign for the museum, flight room, and museum store. I tried to see if you could actually go inside. There's nothing modeled inside of it though. Here's one of their plaques, and you could just see the amount of detail that they put in is just brilliant. Absolutely love the amount of detail. I mean, that just looks so realistic. It seems like I could reach out and touch it. Over here, you could see where Orville and Wilbur actually lived and worked when they were working on all of this happening. They lived and worked here during their 1901, 1902, and 1903 testing seasons, late summer through autumn. These buildings were reconstructed to showcase what their camp was like. You have a dresser and some sort of bowl here. Could be like a kitchen area. And we'll continue our walk this way. Coming up here marks the spot of where the airplane took off. From this very spot, from Orville Wright. And what's very neat about visiting this site, not only can we walk around and check it all out, we can actually get into the airplane itself and fly it. Here's Orville Hill laying down here, and I will explain how this works, and then we will demonstrate another quick little flight. So let me talk a little bit about the history real quick and the airplane, what the airplane is made of. Forward of the wings was a twin surface horizontal elevator, as you can see, and to the rear we have a twin surface vertical rudder. Wing spars and other long straight sections of the craft were constructed of spruce, while the wing and ribs and other bent or shaped pieces were built of ash. Aerodynamic surfaces were covered with a finely woven muslin cloth. The Flyer was propelled by a 4-cylinder gasoline engine of the Wright's own design that developed some 12.5 horsepower after the first few seconds of operation. The engine was linked through a chain drive transmission to twin contra-rotating pusher propellers. Now the pilot would lay on the lower wing here of the biplane with his hips positioned in a padded wooden cradle. The movement of the hips to the right and left operated the wing warping system, which increased the angle of attack of the wings on one side of the craft and decreased it on the other. Small hand lever controlled the forward elevator, which provided pitch control and some extra lift. The rear rudder was directly linked to the wing warping system in order to counteract problems of yaw produced by the warping of the wings. Very fascinating, and of course they knew it would be difficult to operate a wheeled aircraft from the rough sandy surface, so they decided to launch their machine into the air with a 60-foot long monorail track. In order to start the engine, a coil box was connected to the spark plugs, and 2 men pulled the propellers through to turn the engine over. When the pilot was ready, he released the restraining rope with a hand clip, and the machine moved down the rail. So this is quite a fun new activity that Microsoft and the folks of Asobo have put into Microsoft Flight Simulator, and just have some fun. You can take the Wright Flyer wherever you want in the world and just see how far you can fly it. If you enjoyed today's video, I would love for you to be a part of the community and like this video and subscribe. Watch it until the end because that tells YouTube I'm doing a good job. And join the Discord channel. We would love for you to be a part of the community on the Discord channel. There will be lots of more videos on Microsoft Flight Simulator ahead. Take care, signing off for now.